Good evening, everybody. On the eve of World Heart Day, which was yesterday, today we will be discussing a major cardiovascular disease, that is hypertension or high BP. I, being Surgeon Captain Dr. Shambhu Datta, I am head of the Department of Medicine in St. Anne's Hospital, Visakhapatnam. So for brief few minutes, we will be discussing a very important killer disease. Okay, it is a lifestyle disease, and it is one of the largest killer disease along with diabetes we know today. Okay, so what is hypertension or high BP? Hypertension or high BP means that when our blood vessels, that is arterial wall, are under increased, they are under increased resistance or blood pressure. The blood, when the heart pumps, the blood goes through the arteries, and the arteries give a peripheral resistance. If this BP is high, that is inside a rubber pipe, if you give too much of fluid or the pipe is not good, there will be high BP. So the pipe, like a artery, can burst, or it can have long complications, hardening. Same type in our body also, the arteries can get into problem because of high BP. So now I'll discuss what is the cutoff for BP. Normally the BP should be 120/70. That is 120 is the upper one, that is systolic BP, and 70 is the down one, that is 70. Ideally it should be 120/70 or less. Nowadays we are going little strict, but sometime even 130/80 earlier used to be considered as normal, but in the current scenario we are seeing even 130/80 also on the long run can damage our health. So now 130/80 onwards we are telling that it is pre-hypertension. Okay, and anything above 140/90 is hypertension stage 1, and there is something called stage 2. When the BP touches 160, the upper one, and the lower one 100, we call it stage 2 BP. Okay, and there are conditions where BP is very high, like when it upper one touches 180, we call it hypertension emergency or hypertension urgency, where actually it really damages. Either it can cause a stroke, like brain stroke, or it can cause a heart attack or MI. So that is why the hypertension is very important. It can cause acute problem, like it can cause a myocardial infarction or heart attack. It can cause a stroke, or it can cause acute kidney failure or renal failure. Or in chronic, suppose hypertension is there for years, it can damage slowly our heart, our brain, our retina, that is eyes, and our kidneys. And along with that, many other complications it can cause. Okay, so now how to measure the BP? BP normally nowadays there are 3 types of measurement. One is office BP, that is doctor's BP. Like when you come to my office, my chamber, or in my hospital OPD, I will measure the BP. That is called office BP. Another is patient himself can buy a machine online. Nowadays lot of machines are available in market, also available. That is self monitoring of BP or ambulatory BP. If patient can take a machine and can record on its own. Okay, and there are devices which we also give in hospital to the patient to use in the home, because in home surrounding the stress is less, so BP will be slightly less, so will be better record. Or there is a thing called 24 hours BP recording by computerized devices. Those things are also there. Okay, now if in hospital somebody comes, I expect that BP will be slightly high, so maybe 140/80 we take as a cutoff point. Above this we know that it is hypertension. 140/90, sorry. And at home, if it is 130/80 in a relaxed circumstance at home, still it is above 130/80, then again it is considered as BP. Okay, and then there is ambulatory BP, computerized. Those also records more than 130/80, and a normal person should have, at least in night when he sleeps, he should have a systolic BP fall by 20 and diastolic BP, the lower one, falls by 80. That is natural nocturnal BP fall. When the patient sleeps at night, the BP should fall to a physiological 20/10. If it doesn't happen, that is also a hypertension. That can also have lot of morbidity and mortality. Okay, night BP fall, if it is not there, loss of night BP fall, that is also a very important risk factor. Now, how to manage a patient who is BP is high or hypertensive? First, we have to see what is the age group of the patient. If the patient is a young and he has got other coronary risk factors like diabetes, or he has got high cholesterol, or he is a smoker, these are all additional risk factor, or family history of heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, or early heart death. These are all risk factors. There is something called Framingham risk factors or American College of Cardiology risk factors. There is a calculated table and apps are there. We can fit into it and we can see the 10-year risk factor. If the person has got risk factor more than 7, then we should treat him. Or if the person has got, say, mild BP, say 130/90 or 140/90, stage 1, we can try first the most or the best method is lifestyle modification. It has been seen that with lifestyle modification, BP reduces to quite a great extent, and it also saves many lives. So what is the lifestyle modification? Lifestyle modification is first is dietary approach to stop hypertension. That is called DASH, DASH, dietary approach to stop hypertension. So in dietary approach to stop hypertension, the number one thing is less sodium. The salt should be restricted less than 4 to 6 grams. That is in entire cooking, maximum 1 teaspoon of salt, that is 6 grams we use. We should reduce it to less than that. Okay, little less salt is better in the long term for the health. Okay, those who take more salt, their chances of getting into hypertension, heart attack, and stroke is much more. It has been proven. So salt reduction, high potassium in the diet, potassium rich diet like banana, like a lot of fruits. Okay, they are very good. And we should also take more of nuts. They are also good. They are basically, they have things called antioxidants. Then there are flavonoids which are there in green tea. Okay, many fruits. So these flavonoids should be increased. We should take more of vegetables, more of roughage, more of fibers, and less of red meat, high cholesterol, mutton, beef. All these things have to be stopped. We can go for lean meat like chicken. Fish is good. It is very because fish oil is a known coronary protective factor it has got. Okay, so there are a lot of good things in fish. So fish is good. Eggs are also safe as per American Heart Association now. One egg is a good cardioprotective. And another thing is smoking has to be stopped immediately. Most dangerous additive, most dangerous killer along with hypertension is smoking. Smoking should be stopped. Alcohol in moderation. In moderation means only 60 ml. That is 1 peg per day. But actually none of us in India, at least, we don't take that low amount. Most of our people, they take a bottle like at least 180 ml to 250 ml, which is very harmful. Causes alcohol itself causes hypertension. And in other countries and now in India also, drug abuse like cocaine is a known cause of hypertension, and many psychiatric drugs. Okay, like TCA drugs, tricarboxylic acid group of drugs. Okay, then chlorpromazine group of drugs, they increase the BP. So we have to also see the patient's psychiatric drug history or any alcohol abuse history, smoking history. These are very important. Tobacco chewing in India is very common, which also increases BP, like khaini, gutka, tobacco, all these things, they increase the BP. So first, this lifestyle modification will do. Patients should also go for exercise daily. 1 hour of walking is must. Brisk walking is must. At least 5 days in a week he should walk. So once diet, exercise, all these things controlled, oils to be minimized. Okay, maximum oil in a person should be half a liter in a month he should consume. Okay, and other things like desi ghee, butter, all these things should be stopped. So these are lifestyle modifications. Once we go for this lifestyle modification for 2 to 3 months, if the BP of mild BP is not reducing, then we should start our drug. Okay, now the current guideline, International Society of Hypertension guideline, is that if person has got mild hypertension, we have to use a drug, we should use one drug. However, if the patient has got stage 2 hypertension, where the BP is 160/100 or above, then we must use 2 drugs. Okay, now they have also classified which drug for whom, and whether Indians, like we are blacks versus Europeans, the drugs are different. So basically, there are 3 types of drugs which most commonly we use in hypertension. One is either AC inhibitor or ARBs. They basically act through kidney. Okay, and the second drug is calcium channel blocker. They basically work on calcium channel, they block, and that is how they cause the dilatation or relaxation of the blood vessels and heart, and that causes fall in BP. And the third variety is a diuretic. Okay, diuretic also works through kidney. It throws more water, so BP reduces. So as per the recommendation, current guideline 2020-21, for a stage 2 BP, we should use 2 drugs, either a combination of, for Indians, a calcium channel blocker, along with that a ACE or ARB. ACE drugs, ACE drugs actually are amipril. Okay, and there are many other drugs. Similarly, ARBs are telmisartan, losartan. There are many drugs. Similarly, for for diuretics, we have lot of diuretics, loop diuretics, thiazide diuretics. So these are the diuretics. And calcium channel blocker, most commonly used amlodipine or selinidipine. Okay. Along with that, we also control diabetes and hypercholesterolemia, that is dyslipidemia, by statins. Okay. And diabetes, there are drugs like metformin, and there are drugs like DPP4 inhibitors. So all these things, when you add, the patient gets achievement in the form of his BP reduces, long-term complication reduces, and there are certain emergencies in BP where we get very high BP. Patient has to be admitted, like BP like 180 by 100 or 200 by 100. These are called hypertensive urgency. When there is no target organ damage, but there is dysfunction, we admit, and we try to reduce 30% of BP within 24 hours in that scenario. And also we assess any damage, whether there is a problem of heart or there is a problem of the blood vessel in the brain has happened or not. So to prevent that, we admit. And sometimes already the damage has been done, like myocardial infarction has happened because of BP, or stroke has happened because of BP. Then we mitigate those issues with, there are definitive therapies. So my message today to all of you is that first we should achieve a good lifestyle, stress-free. Stress is a very aggressive factor to increase the BP. Okay, so stress-free life, daily playing game or doing some exercise. Okay, and diet should be moderate. We should always become moderate after 35, 40 years. We should not consume alcohol. We should reduce the animal protein intake, or at least red meat we should stop. Smoking we should stop. We should go for daily exercise like jogging, walking, anything. And we should be always happy. Okay, we should not have much of family fight, other things. That also increases significant BP. And we should always visit the doctor at least once in a month if we have BP. And every year or every 6 months, we must routinely check our BP. That is mandatory, recommended by the authorities also. After especially 30 years, one should go every year, or even 40 years, twice a year, 6 monthly, we should check our BP and basic parameters. Okay. And if somebody is having BP at young stage, like 30 years or 40 years, we should always, less than 45 years, we should always check for secondary causes of BP. There are 90% of BP are primary, that is genetic. And there are BPs which are secondary, that is because of thyroid disorder, because of adrenal problem, adrenal tumors or hyperadrenal secretions. And there are so many other factors, coarctation of aorta, because of congenital heart problems. Those things can be mitigated permanently. We can address it permanently if we know the cause. So secondary hypertension, we must check in all the young persons coming with high BP. So that is very important. So in World Heart Day, my message to all of you, we must be fit enough to fight the BP by doing regular exercise, by diet control, and going to the doctor's office at least twice in a year. Thank you.